So Harsh here is discussing whether there was there a second 911? Well, it would have been the first 911 call, to be fair. And I think it's naive to believe that there wasn't, to be honest. It's just, this whole thing doesn't make sense, and they've chucked these two girls under the bus, and they're quite happy for everybody. You know, they're happy for these two girls to take the flak because it takes the heat off them. And we have seen time and time and time and time and time again, no report taken, no report taken. They have not taken people's complaints seriously. They have not taken females' complaints seriously. There is a problem with this police force. I hesitate sometimes with words because I use a different language. I use UK language, and so sometimes I say words that I'm about to say and I think that's not American, which is sometimes where you'll get my hesitancy. Police force, you call it police department. There's a problem with this police department, and now we see that they've brought different police in. If you watched a more recent body cam footage, looks like he got even wilder on King Road, to be honest. I thought it was very tame before, apart from the time when they went down to the boys' house where it was practically tribal. It seemed pretty tame at the other house, at the girls' house, which just exemplifies my point. But 911 calls, they do not have to put them in the police blotter, or whatever you want to call it, in the police log that is published. So this one, I've just been looking up information on this. So Sheriff's Activity Log, this is in San Joaquin County in California, and it says our ability to provide the public with information is governed by various laws, and in some cases specific call information simply cannot be published. Street addresses are rounded to the whole 100 block, we know that, and the date and time shown is when the incident or crime was reported to us, not necessarily when it took place. General remarks are noted to explain what was reported, what the disposition was, and other relevant releasable information. Sometimes they can't release it, and they don't want it. They know that it's bad that they may have responded and not taken it seriously. They may not have taken someone's concerns seriously. They may not have responded at all. Maybe they didn't respond at all. But to believe, at 3 a.m, that those two police, and they're all over the place, these police, that those two police were down on ban. I don't believe that they are not on the ball enough. I believe that they're on the ball, but sometimes they're going to decide whether they think something's important or enough or not. They think it's important to fine people £500 for drinking alcohol when they're 20 years old, which is hysterical to me because I live in a country where at age 18 you can drink, so I just don't understand it anyway. And I do understand that it's not my country and it's completely different law, but it just seems bizarre to send people to university when they're 20 if they can't drink when they're 20 years old. You can't put people in the same houses then, really, can you? It's not a very realistic thing to do, and you're going to have the same problem constantly, and they're just going to be going to ching, and they're making money out of it, and that's important to them. What's less important to them was caring about the females' welfare, and time and in their community, and time again in all of these press conferences, they have said over and over again, we owe it to the victims, we owe it to the victims' families. Yes, they owe it. They know they owe it. They owe it. And I'm really sick of hearing people throwing Dylan and Bethany under the bus, because it's just a cheap shot, and it's always females that receive this. It's the Meghan Markles, it's the Princess Dianas, it's the you probably don't know half of who I'm talking, and you'll know Meghan Markle obviously, but Caroline Flax, it's the Britney Spears, it's like just like always lifting some females up to put others down. It's falling into the trap of misogyny. Is falling into the trap, but females fall into this trap all the time. They put other females down, and it's part of evolution. I think it's I won't get into that, but I think it's some kind of evolutionary thing that you see in animals as well. Casting out another female. Yeah, they don't have to. Here we go. The Sheriff's Daily Activity Log contains information on incidents and arrests taken from the initial Sheriff's Office calls for service, excluding those calls covered by confidentiality requirements. And they've just decided that there's confidentiality requirements with these ones. And why? Because it puts them in the shit if there's not. And they've been quite happy to allow these females to take the rap. Why not pile it on the females of your community once again? Here's another one. This is Sioux Falls. I don't know where that is. Let me just check. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Right. So, past 30-day call logs, 30-day call log update, police log call list disclaimer. The following lists are comprised of calls for service to the police department. This list does not have all the calls for service for the police department. There we go. They've said it in that one. Right, let me check another one. And also, I have heard in an article somebody quoted as referring to the initial 911 calls. It's like a slip up. The initial 911 call. What? There was only one 911 call, wasn't there? So how was there an initial 911 call? If there was an initial 911 call, then there was another 911 call. Otherwise, you'd just call it the 911 call. This is an interesting one. Sarasota County, if you go down to the bottom of it, this internet site won't. This is dispatch, 911 dispatch reporting. And we can read through all of that, but it's like it doesn't seem clear as to whether no guarantee of any kind are made regarding the accuracy or completeness of the data provided on this website. But then they start blaming that on the possibility of technical issues. But further down, halfway down this, let's start this whole last paragraph. Due to new medical information protection regulations set forth by the National Department of Health and Human Services to meet the requirements of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, doesn't sound very new to me, this internet site will no longer list a complete set of incident records. Those records that directly relate to an individual medical incident will no longer be posted. And I've wondered before what medical, because when I was looking at analysing the autopsies that Idaho basically doesn't do. If you look at my video on autopsies, you'll find that it seems like not Idaho, sorry, Latah County doesn't seem to do autopsies. I mean, we know they don't do them. We know that they are passed over to Spokane, but they're not requesting them to be done, it seems. But you need to look at that to understand what I'm talking about and make your own judgment on that. But I was like, well, what's a medical incident? But medical incident doesn't just include things like a heart attack, by the way, because a medical examiner is the person who does the autopsy. Or I can't figure out. I thought a pathologist would do the autopsy, but the medical examiner is certainly involved with the autopsy. So therefore, they're not just talking here medical incident about things like heart attacks and, natural causes. So, you'd have to put in a FOIA request. And at this point, you wouldn't get the information because it's an ongoing investigation and it hasn't been to court yet. You wouldn't be able to get the information until after, once it has, the trial is over, basically. Let's see if we can get another one. Okay, we're in Virginia now, Loudoun County, Virginia. Incident reports are posted each regular business day, Monday through Friday, except holidays. These reports are not all-inclusive for cases reported, but only those noted for media interest. And we would think this case was certainly of media interest, but they are deeming whether it's of media interest, and if they don't want media to know it, then they may think it's not of media interest. Okay, this is in Milwaukee. Now, if you look down, it says how to modify the list of calls just underneath the blue writing. And then to change the police district, and then jump down to update the data. And then just above police district, the heading police district, not all call types shown. So, City of Mesquite. We're looking at the second paragraph, and it's the third line down. After with privacy laws, some call types are not displayed or are edited. So the exact address will not be displayed in accordance with privacy laws. Some call types are not displayed or are edited. Holds. As a practical matter, however, many law enforcement agencies have decided it is easier to provide copies of police reports or particular pages of police blotters regarding a particular incident rather than orally providing the information that the CPRA requires them to disclose. However, under the Williams case, they have an argument that they do not have to disclose the actual dispatch logs themselves if they don't want to. However, as stated above, with respect to addresses of the individuals arrested, which sounds to be the specific information you are seeking, under section 6254F, you are entitled to this information even if not to the actual call logs themselves. So if there was arrest involved, then it would be a matter of public record. But if there's not an arrest involved, it sounds like it doesn't necessarily have to be. They can use their discretion. Okay, so I came here to see if they had anything that because a lot of these activity logs at the beginning, they will say what they can, what's included, and they will say, if, as I've read, that they sometimes not everything will be included, basically, but this doesn't tell you, and it doesn't tell you on the actual website either. This is the Big Country News. They post the same things as the Moscow website itself, right? So they're both the same dispatch log, daily activity log. And I had to, so despite the fact that I'm not none the wiser regarding their procedures, I had to make a video on it, and you'll see why. So this is all they say. Below is the Moscow Police Department daily activity log for Monday, October 9th, 2023. So it was this Monday. So we had an animal noise complaint. No report. Excuse me. Sorry. Vehicle prowl. Ooh, report taken. Keys were stolen. Juvenile problem. No report. This one's no report. I'm just going to go through and show you how many are no report, and then we'll come back to what some of them say, okay? So we've got no report, 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 no fire emergency, so presumably no report. Welfare check, no report. Domestic dispute. Officers responded for a third-party report of a domestic. But did they make a report? We don't know. No report. This one. Harassment. RP is wanting to report telephonic harassment that started about 3 months ago and is unsure of who it might be. RP would like to speak to an officer. Aren't they speaking to you? Did you make a report? We don't know. No report. No report. No report. No report. No report. This one. RP reported Friday night a male parked outside the fraternity for over 10 hours and then followed a fraternity member to a female's house. Does that mean they did make a report if they haven't said whether there was or wasn't a report taken? We don't know. That was a 700 block of Nez Perce Drive, by the way. No report. No report. No report. No report. That was a domestic dispute as well. This one, report taken. Guess what? This is a domestic dispute. It's not a man doing something, it's a woman doing something. So they've taken a report. Of course they have. RP reporting woman is breaking things, throwing things at the house and car. Officer responded. Report taken. Guess where? 500 block of Queen Road. No report. 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 Just says male walking in the alley yelling loudly, and doesn't say whether there was or was not a report. I'm going to double check that this is exactly the same on their own website. Yeah, it seems to be exactly the same. No report. And then we've got the vehicle prowl with the keys stolen, where a report was taken. Then there's the juvenile problem, kids running around, no report taken. Some guy with a firearm. Said he surrendered firearm to the PD due to WA telling him to. RP just found out that since he is in Idaho, that may not be legal. RP is hoping to speak to an officer about this. No report. Found wallet, no report. Haven't you got to write down the details about this wallet? Because surely if you're taking the wallet, because I've had the police call me because I left my bag in the park. I leave stuff everywhere, to be quite honest. And somebody handed it into the police. They must have had to write information down in case I didn't answer when they called me. And no report taken. You can't take a wallet and have no report. Needs a snowmobile inspected, no report. He has a right-of-way permit and he had cones and barriers set up overnight so he could begin work today. People moved cones and barriers and are currently parked in the construction zone, no report. RP states there was a man in a van at her apartment complex this morning that was suspicious. She took a photo of him and the vehicle, no report. Are you fucking kidding me? Burglary intrusion alarm. What does that mean? It went off or something? No report. Reporting barking dog, ongoing issue, no report. No fire emergency. Male calling crisis line. Officer contacted, no report. This one doesn't say whether there's a report. Vehicle swerving, no report. Well, you didn't even just write a description of the vehicle down. Like, I don't understand. Am I missing something here with this no report? Then it must be, I mean, they're clearly logging enough that it's logged here. Or is that just dispatch that's logging this part? Harassment, that's the telephonic harassment, and we don't know if there was a report. Ran out of gas, blocking, officer responded, VIN inspection, no report. Don't know you really understand what that means, but I know it's something to do with the vehicle's VIN number, but I don't know why you need a VIN inspection. Doesn't matter, I don't care. RP reporting ongoing vandalism. RP has photos, no report. What? I mean, let's say if this was a female or even a guy, like within stalking, one of the things is having your vehicle vandalised. In fact, I've done a video on a mum who wrote a review on Pullman Police's website saying that one of the things that happened to her daughter, who had a stalker in Pullman in the March before Coburger even lived there, was that she had her vehicle vandalised. It's building a picture. Requesting a gun check, no report. Black and tan, dusty coloured old shepherd. What? Okay. Then we have that fraternity one. Friday night, a male parked outside the fraternity for over 10 hours and then followed a fraternity member to a female's house. We don't know if there was a report on it or not. Would like to speak with an officer about the safety of his child while he goes through a separation. No report. And there's something that I really need to read to you. Suspicious camper parked on the street, no report. Officers responded for a disorderly, no report. Shouting and yelling. RP reporting a possible domestic shouting and yelling physical in the past. No report. There needs to be a complaint made about these. This is unbelievable. And here we go, 500 block of Queen Road. RP reporting woman is breaking things, throwing things at the house and car. Officers responded, report taken. Male in the lobby accidentally called. Officer advised, no report. I mean, that was probably a mental health issue. That's the only thing they take a report for. You're not acting very seemingly there. I think I'm going to take a report on this one. Now, this concerns me, right? Listen to this. This is 200 block of Baker Street. RP, reporting person, saw a child coming out of the trunk of a car, tried to speak with the driver. Driver told the children not to talk to the RP. RP has photos to show the officer. Officer advised, no report. No report. What? You need to at least write a report to explain why you're not writing a report on this. What the hell? Missing person. Girlfriend did not show up. Should have been home by 5. Our reporting person went to UI, checked her last class and did not see her or see her bike. Officer advised, no report. So presumably he said, call back if she hasn't come back within a certain amount of time. I mean, what are these what are their report forms like or something? That they just got massive. Usually, these days, everything's being put in onto an iPad or something. I mean, are these like massive report forms? Could they not just put something in the report form? Small, fluffy, friendly pup located. What? We've got details about the pup. We've got small, fluffy, friendly. We've got 3 adjectives to describe the pup. We haven't got any adjectives to describe that girlfriend. Homeless male camped out near the baseball fields, passes out in the middle of the road and yells and screams at people. No report. RP can hear an alarming sound, almost like a fire alarm, but can't see anything. Doesn't know the address it might be coming from. Unknown direction where it's coming from. Going off for approximately an hour. Fire and officers responded. No report. Burglar intrusion alarm. No report. And then we have the male walking in the alley, yelling loudly, and we don't know if there was a report or not. MPD at their finest, continuing to fail to write reports. So they didn't write any reports for any of these. So who knows if that 911 call was received. They were too busy. They were busy citing people for drinking alcohol. People who didn't even... I mean, that girl did look drunk, but she was walking with somebody. Oh, man. I'd like to know who's running this town. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if the church wasn't running the town the way it is. It's like, It's like prohibition or something. Never heard anything like it.